It's Champions League, round of 16, second leg, picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. Compete against SGPN this March for a chance to win $75,000. Shit. In SGPN Survivor, enter at splashsports.com/SGPN. Plus, SGPN is giving away $2,000 in our free March Madness bracket. Sign up today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, March the 10th. We are here to look back on a Premier League weekend which finished about 12 minutes ago with a glorious win for Newcastle. And we've got the second leg of the Champions League round of 16 ties. There's some absolute pearlers in there. Looking forward to the next couple of nights. Joining me with his often or unusual glare, Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, what's happening?
Not a lot, just finally calming down after that 90 minutes of absolute shite, wasn't it? Like, what a horrible game. At no point in that 90 minutes did I not think West Ham were going to score. Like, right up until the 96th minute, I've got such a negative feeling about our club at the moment. Just, I was always expecting it to go wrong, but thankfully we come away unscathed, so good stuff.
They were as bad as us, that's the thing. I didn't actually think they were going to score, but I didn't really think we were going to score either. And I did keep sitting, they were there for the taking. Like, if we just stepped it up a little bit and really should have got a second goal. But of all the outcomes tonight, I mean, I called it completely wrong. I should have had more faith in the professionalism of Eddie and the lads. But I think I projected my anxieties onto them. So delighted with the win. It does. It means this week's a little bit easier between now and the weekend. I watched it with both kids here, and they were giggling like fuck for the last 20 minutes, and I didn't know what they were giggling at. And it turns out they were playing a game of Big Mala Bingo. They'd playing Big Mala Bingo, and we're crossing things off that I scream at the telly. And Bob won right at the end with the last thing was shite that. That was it. That was one of his squares. Shite that. Keep the fucking ball was another one. And no foul was another one as well, because I'm a big exporter. You know, when the bloke's heading towards the corner flag, and I'm just screaming, no foul, no foul, no foul. And then they fucking foul him. So Bob, with the last kick of the game, with a big shite that, won Big Malabingo. So yeah, they enjoyed themselves at my expense.
Sounds like fun.
Not much else happened, really. I was hoping that Cheltenham starts tomorrow, hoping Cheltenham distracts us for a few days, which is good timing just before the cup final. But Newcastle winning has done a good job. Just looking at the league table now as we speak, up to 6th, same points as Man City. Goal difference is a little bit worse, but yeah, it keeps us live, keeps us honest. If you haven't had a chance to cast your eye over Cheltenham, or you can have a bet over the next 4 days, do not forget that Pete's picks. Pete might be around later on in the chat. Pete joined me the other day, and we did a little half an hour and stuck it out on the YouTube channel. It's not released as a podcast, but it is on the YouTube channel. It's got some decent views as well. So hopefully we'll fire out some winners. So good luck with that. And yeah, an exciting Champions League week ahead. There are some absolute beauty of games, Baz. So looking forward to it. I enjoyed it last week. And then it's PSG tomorrow. Yeah, Liverpool PSG is tomorrow, and then the Madrid game on Wednesday. So they're the 2 games I'll be focused on, just in terms of pure football. But obviously, we'll be having a little go on the rest of them. The chat is lit, Barry. That's what they say on the other shows. I've listened to all the other American shows. It's lit in this chat here. I'm going from the bottom up. Slick Rick is here. Rick, how you doing? Andy Williams, Ian Lights Out here. Callum, Lee Smith. Lee Smith's had about 3 weeks off the show. I don't know where he's been. Ever since Burnley got humped off Preston, Lee hasn't turned up. Michael Roberts is here. Connor Mack always makes us laugh with the Southampton chat. We'll get onto that in a bit. Joe Dollar. The Gaucho is here as well. The Backus family. John Cullifay. And I think that's everybody. So if you are having a look in the chat, by all means, stick your head in and say hello. Baz, did I ask you if anything was going on your end?
No, it's been quite a quiet week for me. Really, not a lot going on over the weekend. I mean, mainly just basking in the glory of a famous Battleships win last week. We celebrated that quite wildly as a family over a few days. You know, the kids were very excited when they woke up the next morning.
Yeah.
Woke Helen up, but I went to bed to let her know what had happened. Obviously, we struggled to get to sleep after that. It was so much hype and excitement around the place. So yeah, we've celebrated that hard over the weekend. Like,
the exact opposite. I had to sit the kids down, Barry, and tell them what had happened because obviously they'd been involved. You know what I mean, from the outset, and it was disappointing. Everyone was disappointed, but we spent a bit of time together over the weekend. You know, there's more to life. You know, I sat them down and made them aware of things that they should be grateful for, and what have you. So yeah, we'll go again, Barry. You know what I mean? We'll go again. These things are sent to test us. So we will go again. Courtney's asking what the prize was for winning the Battleship. The prize is he gets to share shit like that for as long as he wants. That's the prize. He can make these little proclamations for years and years if he wants. And there's nothing I can do about it. I have no
prize.
I have no leg to stand on.
The prize this week, Malcolm, is I get to gloss over my absolutely terrible week of Premier League picks.
Oh, was it bad?
We
haven't really talked about this. The fact that you've been quite quiet led me to believe that, yeah, you normally tell me when you've had a few winners, and I haven't heard from you. So, yeah, go on, you go first. Talk us through the anatomy of that disaster.
It was an absolute horror show for me. I couldn't hit anything. Bonus picks, terrible. Ladder, terrible. I had far too much faith in Arsenal, which was completely unfounded. They were terrible. That let me down. I mean, there was things where I was on the right side of the game. I wanted Palace, but I took Palace and both teams to score. I looked at the Spurs team total, and then I ended up going for Spurs to win. Again, they hit the team total, but they don't win. So a few things close, but then lots of shite. Liverpool not hitting the handicap. Chelsea not hitting the handicap. Chelsea were rubbish again, weren't they? So yeah, just a very, very forgettable week in terms of Premier League picks for me.
I've done all right. Obviously, I got West Ham wrong tonight, but I did okay. My lock hit. Never in doubt. Liverpool and under 5 goals, Barry. Hall of Fame pick landed. To be honest, that should have finished 1-0 because Southampton's goal was offside. Nunes should have got sent off. The penalty was soft as shit. So only the last penalty should have stood. So that should have finished 1-0. So my lock did hit. My stats pick hit. The shots on target. Tottenham and Bournemouth. City, Forest City under 2.5 was a great price. 13-10. We analysed that game. And after 10 minutes, I was quite happy with that. I was like, yeah, Forest are going to win this 1-0. And it was Chelsea missed pen, mushed me a little bit. And Arsenal not winning also mushed me. But I think it was a tricky week, Baz. There was 5 1-0s this weekend. Believe it or not, Newcastle big in the 5th one tonight. Going back over the cards. Obviously, Forest won 1-0 in the first game. Palace won 1-0. Villa won 1-0. Chelsea won 1-0. And then Newcastle won. And there was 2 1-1s. The Man United Arsenal game. And then Wolves Everton finished 1-1 as well. So 7 unders, 5 1-0s. So 5 BTTS no in there as well. So pretty tricky. Pretty tricky all the way around. Callum saying that was never a red. Yeah, I might just mildly pull on your leg, Callum, but he did just kick the bloke. And Connor Mack had a little bit of Southampton at half time at 18-1. which was a great play. So well done, Connor. So yeah, did all right. I was happy with my picks, Baz. Eye catchers wise, Nottingham Forest. I think you have to mention again. The absolute after 10 minutes of that game, I was absolutely convinced Forest were going to win 1-0. It was Man City off the pace, completely and utterly off the pace, and everything that Forest did, it played into their hands. It ticked all the boxes. Less possession, but they kicked everything that came near them. They headed it, they cleared it. They were competitive in midfield, and they always looked dangerous on the break. Bit of a lucky goal. I thought the keeper had a bit of a mare. But yeah, delighted for Forest. I messaged Matthews. I messaged Nibs. Nibs said he was just back on the train. He couldn't stop giggling. He said he was on the train back from Forest to Worcester, and he was just giggling every 5 minutes. Like, just can't quite believe what's going on. So a massive win there. And the only other eye catcher for me, Baz, was Arsenal. So fucking Arteta's got to do better than that. I know we said he's been on our radar because every time they play Newcastle, he gets outcoached by Eddie Howe, right? Now, he's got all week to prepare for that game. Yeah, he hasn't got a striker. Could he not think of anything better to do than what he did? With Raheem Sterling sitting on the bench. Now, I don't care if he's out of form or whatever. He's still not a bad player, and he's a forward player. That game was crying out. The entire game consisted of Odegaard and Rice having the ball 25 yards from goal. And they just needed someone to move some defenders around. And even if Sterling hadn't got the ball and scored, he would have made some space for something else. Or if you don't want Sterling to do it, get Trossard to do it. Get a forward-thinking player. It was absolutely pathetic. And then he never, ever changed it either. He brought on Kieran fucking Tierney to play up front and left Sterling there scratching his arse on the bench. I thought it was a really poor effort from Arteta. Man United were dog shit in the first half as well. Scored a goal, but Raya's leaning against the post, smoking a woodbine as that flies in the middle of the goal for some reason. And then Man United had 2 great chances in the second half. Man, you were crap. But Arsenal you had the ladder bed, didn't you? And after 10, 15 minutes, I messaged you. Absolutely. And I said, this is going the form of how I thought it might go, which was them not being able to break Man United down and Man United being shit. But fucking the manager's got to do something better or different. Like, I thought it was weak. And you can tell as well the fact that he pulled his toys out the pram in the interview. Needed a ambulance calling, didn't he? The big baby just pootled off in a paddy. And that's a sign of a man who knows he's dropped his arse. So, yeah, I enjoyed all of that, Baz. That was really my only 2 eye catchers, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the same thing. Arsenal as an eye catcher were very, very poor because Man United weren't good. Man United have got a bit of a knack now of being really, really shit, but hanging in games.
Resilient, you've said 3 or 4 weeks back.
Yeah, he said last week. I mean, you look, there's a lot of draws in there that they should definitely have lost. There's even the odd game that they've won that they should definitely have lost. So they are hanging around like a bad smelling games and coming away with stuff. But yeah, really disappointing from Arsenal because Man United were there for the taking. As I say, I don't get the Merino up top thing. There's got to be a better option than that. First time ever I've seen a big thing made about a wall being 11.2 yards.
Yeah.
I've never ever noticed. We've never measured the wall before, but suddenly when it's down to Arsenal, we have to measure it to the exact inch. But that was a bit weird. I mean,
you not see all the Sky Sports people pacing it out this morning?
Oh, it was ridiculous. Totally over the top.
So, is it Stephen Warnock and what's her name? I can't remember her name. What's her name? Here with the hair like a gonk. I quite like Sue Smith. Is it? I like her. But yeah, they were all taking turns to pace out 10 yards to see if they could get it accurately. Declan and Dermot Gallagher's pacing out across the shoot. They had to get a new camera. They had to get a wide-angled lens in so they could pace out 10 yards. Yeah, Sue Smith, Connor, you're absolutely right. Fef Weft joined us. Enjoy Fef. Fef had 0-0 half-time in Man United Arsenal. That's going to be a ball ache. Yeah, sorry, Baz, go on.
The other one, and Connor's already put it in there, was Spurs. How bad Spurs are. Spurs were very, very lucky to come away with a point from that game. I don't know how they've conspired to get anything from that. God, Ange has got to be hanging by a thread, and particularly, I mean, they've got a big game this week against Alkmaar. If they go out this week in that, I think he's on a very, very short thread. Like,
you see, yesterday he seemed to know. There's just something about him. He seems to know that he's gone as well. The players seem to know. He seems to know. Yeah, I don't know how they got away with the draw, frankly, because they were the second best team in that game. It'd be interesting to see what they do on Thursday night. I was listening to Talk Sport this afternoon, and Paul Hawks, who goes to the games, even when they get 1-0, when they get the consolation goal, you expect the big roar, right? Come on, then let's get the equaliser. And he said even then there was just nothing. Like it's the ship sailed, Baz. So 1-0 down at home to Alkmaar. We might try and have a look at those prices. I might try and drag those prices up when you're talking in a bit for that game, and possibly the Manchester United game as well. Anything else to wrap up the Premier League weekend, Baz, before we move on?
No, as I say, I'm happy to put it behind me and go flying into the Champions League, which ironically I didn't do very well at that last week either. So I'm in a bit of a dip at the moment, so I need to pull myself out.
Well, I felt better about these Champions Leagues. It didn't take me long to handicap them because obviously their second legs, it's a bit weird. So you've seen the first leg last week. I was either right or wrong. And if I was right, I just cracked on the same. And if I was wrong, I went the other way. It's really easy, isn't it? We've just seen how to do it. So no excuses really, Baz, here. We are giving away, me and Baz, $1,000 each. So that's $2,000 in the free March Madness bracket competition. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket to sign up today. Plus, you can compete against SGPN this March in our SGPN Survivor, where we're giving away $75,000. Winner takes all. That's a lot, Baz. Enter at splashsports.com/SGPN. Edge Boost has partnered up with SGPN, the Premier Visit debit card for bettors. Avoid having your card declined at any of your favourite gambling spots. Earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards. And if you know your money is safe, the card is FDIC insured. There's no credit checks and it's free. Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport, plus props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from tons of locations, easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Right. Pete's joined us. We did say Pete might be here along. Pete has put a little graphic up on Twitter with his picks for day one. It's at Pete's Picks 01. Or like I say, go and have a little watch of that video. We've done all right there. So cheers, appreciate that. Pete was very good. It was Pete's debut, having the old chit chat, and Pete was an absolute natural. He was like a young Jonathan Ross. I was waiting. I didn't want to move on with the show until John congratulated me on the ad reads, and I wasn't even sure he was here, but he is, and he has. So thanks, John. You're just the kind of cheerleader that everybody should have. Right. Tuesday night, 5:45 kickoff, 12:45 Eastern time, is Barcelona against Benfica. Barcelona are 3-10, minus 333. The draw is 15-4, plus 175. Benfica are 13-2, plus 650. With a 1-0 lead from the first leg, Barcelona, a 1-20 to qualify, minus 2,000. Benfica 12-1 to make it through. 1-0 Barcelona lead. They've played 4 home games in the Champions League this season. Scored lots of goals. They've scored 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the games. Defensively, they're quite inconsistent in this competition. They are flying in La Liga. They've scored 4 and 7 in 2 of the last 4 home games. They did well last time out because they got a red card early on, first 20 minutes. Centre-back got sent off. That was at 0-0. Still managed to find a goal. Still managed to find a clean sheet. It's home at the new camp. You'd think this should be the end of the road for Benfica. Good form domestically, but against no kind of opposition at all. 11 Champions League games now they've played this year. They've won 5, including a couple of decent away wins. You can't ignore it. They've won in Monaco twice. They've won at Juventus. But I do think Barca, again, are just a level above those two teams. I was torn between two bets here, which was the match total of over 3.5, or the Barcelona team total of over 2.5. But Benfica, as well as they've done, they conceded 3 against Feyenoord. They conceded 3 against Monaco. And crucially, they conceded 5 against Barcelona in the league phase of this competition. So that just nudged me towards the Barcelona team total. Benfica have to push. They need a goal, and I might just leave them open at the back. Barcelona team total over 2.5 is 4-5, minus 125, Baz.
Yeah, I went for goals in this one last week and obviously was doomed very early on with the red card for Barcelona. I think you're right. Barcelona taking a 1-0 lead from that. Despite the red card, you've got to fancy them to see out the job at the new camp, where, as you say, they are full of goals at the moment. Not sure how Benfica didn't manage a goal in that first leg. They had 26 shots and an XG of over 2.5. Still didn't manage to register one. So they're not dead and buried. This game's still got plenty of life in it. But I am drawn to the goals again here. Barcelona at home in this competition have saw over 2.5 in all 4 of their home games. 3 of the 4 went over 3.5. And they've scored a total of 14 goals in 4 home games in this, including 5 against Bayern. So plenty of goals for Barcelona. We know the group stage game between these two was full of goals as well, finishing 5-4. And obviously we didn't get similar last week, but I think we'll see a few here. And I'm going exactly the same way as you. I've got Barcelona team total over 2.5 goals at 4-5.
Yeah, most people in the comments bars are co-signing that. They want goals as the angle. Fefwef. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm going to stick with it now forever. This is a 3 in there somewhere. But we'll stick with Fefwef. Benfica to score 1 or more. And Benfica 4 shots on target. Nice little stat pick there. Barca to win with both teams to score for Joe. So yeah, team ride on that one. Nice start. The 8 o'clock kickoffs on Tuesday commence with Bayer Leverkusen against Bayern Munich. Leverkusen are 17-10 plus 170. The draw is 5-2 plus 250. And Bayern Munich 6-4 plus 150 to qualify. Munich leading 3-0 from the first leg. So possibly a dead rubber. We've got a few of these. Leverkusen 16-1. Munich, any price you like, too short. Baz, can Leverkusen hold this back in any way?
Seems unlikely. They were very disappointing last week, Leverkusen. Barely laid a glove on Bayern. They had just 3 shots in the game, only 1 on target. And given the head-to-head record, which I talked about last week before that game, certainly expected a lot more from Leverkusen than they actually showed on the night. Both teams lost in Bundesliga at the weekend. I mean, Bayern looked to have the league wrapped up, you would think. 8 points ahead at this stage, probably looking quite comfortable over Leverkusen. I mean, it's a tricky one because the tie looks to be dead and buried in the first leg. But you think Leverkusen are going to have to put up a bit more of a fight here in front of their own fans. And it might potentially make it a bit more of an open game if they come out, try and take the game to Bayern early on, try and get an early goal. Then Bayern might just be able to pick them off. Tricky, my pick, because Bayern don't need anything here, 3-0 up. But I'm going to take Bayern to score 2 or more. It's a decent price, 11-10, it's a plus money price. It might be obvious by the end of this game why it was a good price if Bayern just go out and don't really put the effort in and see out at 0-0 or a 1-0 or something. I know you quite like the unders quite often with Bayern at the moment and have done well with that. But yeah, I've ended up on Bayern team total. I like Bayern to score 2 or more at 11-10.
You're absolutely right, Barry. You've handicapped it properly and then picked something else. It's the 0-0, 1-0 kind of situation. And if you remember, we did talk about this when Munich went to Leverkusen in the league, and all they had to do was protect their 8-point lead in the league, and they mangled the game completely and came away with a 0-0 draw. And if this isn't the exact same situation, I don't know what is. And not even no goals, under 2.5 goals is plus money. It's 11-10. I just don't get it. We've seen Company use this exact system in it, what, a month ago, 4 or 5 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know. I don't know why you change it. I mean, they kept them at arm's length, and they can keep them at arm's length again. Leverkusen will have a right good go, but they'll just slow it down. And a plus money especially. If this was 4-6 or something, I would have thought twice about giving it out. Lee is pointing out that Company is thick as pig shit. That's fine, because this isn't a very clever system he has to employ. It's everybody up that end. That's the system. You don't have to be a genius to do that. Steve Bruce did it for years. So everybody up that end means 0-0. So yeah, under 2.5 goals is 11-10 plus 110. Inter Milan take on Feyenoord. Inter Milan are 3-10, minus 333. The draw 9-2 plus 450. Feyenoord at 8-1. Inter Milan are 2-0 up from the first leg. So again, you can make your own prices up for the teams to qualify. Again, Baz, this was one having picked the winner. I didn't have to go very far because the handicap last week was spot on. All you have to do is be alerted to the fact that Inter win every game without conceding. 8 clean sheets in 9 in the Champions League. Won 7 of those 8. Only conceded once in the 9 games, man. Leverkusen scored against them in a 1-0 win. Pattern fits for the first leg. Inter went and won 2-0. Did miss a penalty as well to make it 3-0. So a 2-0 win in Feyenoord seems like a decent comp for a game a week later against Feyenoord. Inter to win to 0 is 11-10 plus 110. I didn't see why it would be any more complicated than that, Baz.
Yeah, I just got distracted there. I got a notification saying breaking news, Man United was all I saw, and I thought, oh, what's this? Have they sacked Amarim or something? Apparently, they're going to announce tomorrow a new 100,000-seater stadium. It's big, that, isn't it?
Yeah, big, it is.
Lots of seats, that. You need lots of people.
Without a week paying for that, Baz, with our tax.
Oh, who knows? Jim Radcliffe will not be paying for it, will he? Anyway, Inter Milan v Feyenoord. 2-0 deficit. Coming into this one just seems very hard for Feyenoord to overcome here. With Milan still having conceded just once in this competition in 9 games. 7 wins, all to 0. Both teams to score no has hit in all 9 games for Inter. 7 of the 9 games they've played have went under 2.5 goals. And Feyenoord have also seen under 2.5 in the last 3 in this competition, including the first leg last week, obviously. I think low scoring looks a good shout once again. I'd fancy Inter at home, but they just don't run many goals. They don't score tons of goals against anyone. They just do what they need to do. In this competition, they're averaging less than 5 shots on target per game, Inter, in the Champions League, and they only give up 3 shots on target. So you're just not expecting many goals in their games regularly. So I think that all of that bodes well for the unders, and the fact that Inter can just hold on to what they've got here, being 2-0 up. I was really surprised to see the unders available at a plus money price, 11-10. I mean, both teams to score no is 7-10. So the books obviously like Inter for a clean sheet. So I'd expect the unders to be a favourite here, if anything. 2 picks here at the same price that I liked. The unders appealed at 11-10, but I also like Inter to win 0. So I've landed on exactly the same pick as you again. They've done this in 7 of their 9 Champions League games. And in all 4 of the home games in the Champions League as well. So yeah, exactly the same pick. Inter to win to 0 at 11-10.
2 team rides out of 3, yeah. The chat's reacting to that Man United news, 100 grand stadium, but the receptionist can't have garlic bread with a spaghetti bolognese fitting. Get in. Brutal's joined us. Brutal, how you doing? Brutal's looking forward to a mega week of sport, which includes us having Newcastle winning tonight, 28 winners at the Cheltenham Festival, and then Newcastle winning on Sunday. What a week, Baz. What a week.
I've not seen Bootle in for a while, so he must be getting very excited.
We haven't had Bootle in for a while. We enjoy Bootle. There's quite a few people turned up, and I'm sure not everyone said hello. So say hello, you shysters. I'm going to read some of these adverts out, Baz. Watch this. Just for John. Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you're invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a first full watch party Wednesday, March the 19th at the awesome Stadium Swim at Circuit Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys from SGPN. It gets better. Rhythm are giving away a $250 March Madness future for a lucky Rhythm user. Rhythm's March Madness stats and success from 2024 was spot on. 34% of brackets compared to 24.7% of ESPN. Rhythm predicted Duquesne, how you meant to say that, NC State and Oakland upsets. A free party plus a chance at a $250 future bet. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. And finally, Underdog, NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your sport, you cash in with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. They're offering Luka Doncic discount for every Lakers game the rest of the season. They've got prices for the Combine, the NFL Combine, which is hardcore. Use our code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. Take the piss out of Americans for not being able to pronounce Leicester, and then I just drop the ball there. How do you want to pronounce Duquesne, Baz? Any
I have no idea. Not a clue.
Slick Rick must know. Come on, Rick. Duquesne? Ooh, I don't know. John's gone with back-to-back smooth ad reads. John's going to Vegas for the party as well. Bastard. That's a stroke of luck. Actually, Baz, you know my mate George, the vicar, he's an idiot, right? Terrible guy. He's just a general idiot. He's a terrible, terrible gambler. On Saturday night, I was in the 3 Mile. He sent a message, Barry. He had a £20 9-timer on Saturday. The last leg of which was Everton v Wolves to draw, and won 9,046 quid. And even then, the bet was just shit. So he had Man City to win at 9-4, great price. He's got Everton v Wolves. He had Liverpool to win at 1-12. The bet made no sense at all. If you're going to put loads of shorties together, you'd put loads of shorties together. If you want to have a couple of longer ones, but to have a 9-4 shot in with a 1-12, the whole thing was mad. But he just let it ride. 20 quid at 450 to 1. Sat there with $9,000 on Saturday night. Absolutely astonishing stuff from my stupid mate George. The answer is Duquesne University. It's an hour away from John. So, right, on Thursday, I'll nail that ad read for Duquesne. Right. What's Bootle on about? All right, yeah, we do get stuck into Arsenal at the top. Bootle, you will enjoy that. Well, we get to Arsenal in a minute as well. We can get stuck into them again if you want, because they've got a game on Wednesday. But one of the two mega games this week is Liverpool taking on PSG. Liverpool 6-5 plus 120. The draw is 3-1. PSG 15-8 plus 187. To qualify, Liverpool 1-4 minus 400. I don't know what price PSG are because I scribbled it out, obviously erroneously. Let me just scroll down here. To qualify, 11-4 PSG plus 275. Liverpool with an ill-deserved 1-0 lead from the first leg, Barry.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned at the start, this is the one to look forward to on the Tuesday, isn't it? After the first leg, I'm certainly looking forward to this one. Still all to play for at 1-0. I mean, I thought PSG were brilliant last week. Really enjoyed watching them, but ultimately came away with nothing due to a resolute Liverpool defence and some outstanding saves from Alisson. I mean, you couldn't put two games like that together back to back. So I think, having been as dominant as they were in terms of possession and chances created last week, they'll fancy themselves to at least have a pop at Liverpool here. It's obviously a much bigger task at Anfield to do that, especially with Liverpool now having the lead to hold on to. But if they can create half as many chances as they did last week, I fancy them to at least get a goal here. They had 27 shots last week, 10 on target. And Liverpool at home, they've conceded against Southampton the other day. They conceded against Ipswich and Wolves lately. So there is hope for PSG to get at least a goal and make something out of this. Before last week, PSG had scored 3 or more in 5 straight Champions League games. 21 goals in total in those 5 games. I mean, admittedly, that was against less formidable opposition. Did include 5 against Man City. But I think they can get at least a couple here. I think this could be an entertaining game. Whether a couple will be enough for PSG, I don't know, because I expect Liverpool to offer a bit more at the other end this week. But I'm going to take PSG, team total, over 1.5 goals at 11-10.
Holy shit, Barry. This is game number 4, and we've got 3 matching picks here. I got the same play. This, Barry's I thought this was a real good test of a handicapper, which we will almost inevitably fail. PSG were outstanding in the first leg. They were unfortunate, or were Liverpool resilient and impressive defensively? But I was really taken with PSG last week. Like the eye test more than anything else. You couldn't not be taken with them. They looked absolutely full of goals. They know they have to go and try and score at least one. It could be mayhem, this. And if Liverpool get involved in a shootout, which is entirely possible, I can see PSG scoring twice plus with average luck. And you have to factor that in. And it probably will go Liverpool's way. It's a weird one because I think as a Newcastle fan, Liverpool winning is probably the best course of action for us. Because if they get knocked out, the only thing they've got left really is the League Cup on Sunday, because they could win the Premier League spinning on their cock. Like, they don't have to try even a little bit now. They're out the FA Cup, they'll be out the Champions League, and that's all they've got. I think with the Champions League still to play for, but I won't shed a tear if they get knocked out as well. Scott Reichel, that must be, from the Tennis Gambling Podcast, got involved here. Scott, like 16, over 16 PSG shots at -105. Scott is very, very, very shrewd on the old football. He sticks his play. We have our little MLB show Slack chat. Scott's always bunging a few winners in there. So yeah, welcome, Scott. Anyway, nice to have you. Where are we going next? We go to Wednesday. And the early kickoff here is Lille taking on Borussia Dortmund. Lille are 8-5 plus 160, 5-2 the draw plus 250, and Dortmund 8-5 plus 160. So it is a match on the books, 8-5 each of 2. To qualify is also a match, 9-10, -111, both sides here. So yeah, as tight as you like. The tightest game on the slate here. The first leg finished 1-1. Bookies can't split them. I like Lille. I've been quite taken with Lille as well. They've won 5 of their 9 Champions League games now, including 3 of the 4 that they played at home. One against Real Madrid, solid form. They humped Feyenoord 6-1, solid form. They've got a win at Atletico Madrid, which is great form. You saw how good Atletico were last week. So you can't really poke holes in what Lille have done. The only maybe caveat you'd put in is that they seem to be better earlier in the competition. They dropped away a little bit, but they've done the hard work. And Dortmund are just way off it at the minute, Baz. They're now dropped down to the bottom half of the Bundesliga. And I just much prefer Lille at the prices. You can take either one. Lille to win in 90 at 8-5 plus 160, or Lille to qualify at 9-10 -111 because it could go to extra time. This is the tightest one, but yeah, I much prefer Lille. But
so, which one are you taking? Either one.
Lille 8-5 plus 160.
Yeah, this one's delicately poised here at 1-1, but you have to say the advantage looks to be Lille's. With them, they're unbeaten at home in this competition, and even domestically, just 1 defeat in their last 11 games, I think, for Lille now. Really, really good at home. I mean, the home win against Real Madrid in this competition stands out as one of the eye catchers in the form line. And Dortmund are just very hard to predict at the moment. Very hit and miss generally. You've mentioned the league form is poor, but also in the Champions League, 4 wins, 3 defeats. I think a couple of draws in there, and won just 2 of the last 6 in all competitions now. I went for goals in this last week, got my fingers burned, won't be going there again. Dortmund games have actually gone under 2.5 goals in 5 of the last 6 now. And Lille games 3-3 to the over and under in the last 6. So I didn't want anything to do with that. So I came back to Lille and their home form, and particularly in this competition. And with both teams at the same price, I think you have to side with Lille. It's another team ride. 4 out of 5. I'm taking Lille to win 8-5.
One of the loveliest things about this podcast, Baz, is the mix of our American and Canadian viewers with our British ones. And the chat, it's just so obvious who's who. You've got Scott putting a nice reasoned argument for Lille, having outplayed Dortmund. Ian, who likes Lille to qualify. And then Callum, who just wrote, Dortmund have been proper shite. It's great. It's absolutely brilliant. Arms across the sea here. Well, Barry, 3 more games. Where are we going to end up here? This next one is an absolute nightmare. Talk about the test of a handicapper. Arsenal taking on PSV Eindhoven. Arsenal 2-5, minus 250. 4-1 the draw. PSV are 6-1, all on the night. To qualify is entirely irrelevant. Arsenal being 7-1 up from the first leg. Is this you to go first? Yeah, this is you to go first, Waz. Let's see what you did here, because I had an angle in.
I mean, it's a horrible one, isn't it? From one that is very much alive in Dortmund and Lille to this one, which is effectively a dead rubber. So where do you go with it? I mean, I got carried away with Arsenal at the weekend, as I mentioned. Made a bit of a mug of myself, taking Arsenal goals against Man United. Very, very poor from Arsenal once again. Fortunate to come away with a point in that game. David Raya, by far the busier keeper, and had to pull off some absolutely world-class saves to keep Man United out. The 7-1 last week was ridiculous. Didn't see that coming. But could easily have been different. PSV hit the post with a chance to go 1-0 up just before Arsenal scored. At 2-0, Lewis Skelly should definitely be sent off. I don't know how we didn't mention that last week, Malcolm. Yet again, one of these referees who decides, we'll not give the yellow card, we'll just let the manager make a decision in 5 minutes and take him off, like you would in under-10s football. Arteta hooked Lewis Skelly after 30 minutes last week. That was a shambles. But regardless of all that, the game's dead, and therefore really hard to try and find a pick in this one. I mean, it could potentially just have pre-season friendly vibes about it, where both teams just go out and piss about, and we might have quite an open game. Or it just could be a very dull one. The 7-1 last week is very much the outlier in terms of Arsenal games. 5 of their last 6 have went under 2.5 goals. And with them struggling to find goals, them not needing goals here, and very little motivation for PSV, I think you've got to take the unders. Under 2.5 goals, 11-10. I'm surprised it's plus money, to be honest, with neither team really having much motivation to go for it here. So yeah, I'll take the under 2.5 at 11-10.
Holy mackerel, Barry. It's 5 out of 6 on the team rides. Under 2.5 goals is also my pick. And really, all form is irrelevant here. It doesn't matter what happened previously, how they've been playing, whatever. To put a bet on this game, you just have to choose the game script that you prefer and pick a bet, because you might be wrong, you might be right. No one knows. It's a load of bollocks. It's a total dead rubber. I'm going to say that the game follows my level of enthusiasm in this game, which is 0. And that was the side you came on. It might finish 5-4 because everyone just pisses about like Soccer Aid. But I think the alternative is that just no one's asked. They'll just let each other go through the motions. No one wants to be involved in a game if they don't have to be. Both teams have got other stuff. PSV have absolutely fallen off a cliff since sort of Christmas time in the Dutch League. And really, I think we should have made more of that when we handicapped it last week. I gave PSV a chance. I felt that was my biggest mistake last week. But I can just see them all subconsciously just calling this off already. So yeah, under 2.5 goals for the 5th team ride out of 6. is 11-10 plus 110. Scott likes both teams to score at -108. Just giving PSV a chance to get on the score sheet with Arsenal playing a few reserves, which again, that's your angle. And do you know what I mean? It's whatever you think might happen. Serial's joined us. Serial, welcome along. And while we have got Scott, it's a good time to point out that the MLB Gambling Podcast's got its pre-season previews in full swing. Myself and Scott, at this time tomorrow, actually, are going to be doing the AL East featuring Scott's New York Yankees. So if you are around and you want your loyalty card stamped, come and join me and Scott tomorrow night. The penultimate game on the card here is an 8 o'clock kickoff between Aston Villa and Club Brugge. Aston Villa are 3-5, -166. 16-5, plus 320 the draw. And 21-4, plus 525 Club Brugge. To qualify, Villa being 3-1 up from the first leg. Villa are 1-50 and Bruges are 18-1. I don't think, Barry, that me and you have got the same pick on this game. I'm struggling with Villa. I got them wrong again at the weekend. I took Brentford because Villa had been struggling off European games. Had struggled away from home. But Brentford are also struggling particularly badly. And Villa sneaked a 1-0 win. In really a game that all three options were on the table there. Just so happened Villa kicked it in the goal and Brentford didn't. I also suffered from the curse of tweeting out that Robin Olsen was shite and that everyone should get on Brentford. And then obviously the minute you tweet that, he plays like Levi Yashin. I just can't get them right. I still like Bruges. I was soft on Bruges last week. We took them. I took them in the game. And last week was definitely a false final. Absolutely a false final. It was 1-1. Bruges miss an absolute sitter. Oh, sorry. Mings clears it with the inside of his shin pad somehow. Bruges could have gone 2-1 up. And then own goal penalty. And it's all of a sudden gone the other way. I'm going to take Bruges. They're not out of this, Baz. They're not out of this. The first goal is crucial in this game. Sounds obvious to say. But I'm going to take the Bruges team total. They've got to go and score twice. And I think they can. The Bruges team total is 12-5 plus 240. But having scored 2 goals, that also gives them a squeak in the tie. That's at 18-1. There's worse 18-1 shots here. Depending on how your Cheltenham's going. Get a cheeky tenner on Bruges at 18-1, but
yeah, different picks here. I think I agree with you. The 3-1 scoreline last week flattered Villa a little. Bruges definitely be disappointed not to come into this game a little bit closer to Villa coming into the second leg. Villa, I think, should be able to see it out, but Bruges can definitely make a game of it. I don't mind your pick at all. They don't often fail to score in this competition. Only Juventus have stopped Bruges scoring in their 9 games in the Champions League. Scored in both legs against Atalanta, scored against Man City, Sporting. They scored in both games against Villa. They've already played them twice. So I do like Bruges to get at least a goal here, so I don't mind you going that little bit further and taking them to get a couple. The last 4 in this competition for Bruges all went over 2.5 goals. 3 of the last 4 Villa games in this competition have went over 3.5 goals. And Villa have got no clean sheet in the last 4 Champions League games. So again, that helps if you're looking for a Bruges goal. But I've ended up with I've gone with goals. The overs is short, over 2.5 short at 8-13. But I don't see either side going and winning it 3-0. So a tag on the both teams to score, get the even money for over 2.5 and both teams to score. I can see in the chat, Scott's gone for the same pick here. He's getting it slightly under evens. But yeah, the pick for me here, Villa v Bruges, is over 2.5 goals and both teams to score at even money.
Okay, so that's the same pick that Scott's put out. Both teams scoring over 2.5. -105 there. So you can find some even, Scott. 44-1 so far for the team ride. The 6-timer, Baz. It's 6 or 5, I think. 5-timer. Lee's priced up at 44-1.
Could be a 6-timer once we get to the end of this next one. Still time.
Almost. Yeah, actually, I think this is very, very likely. But the game of the week for me, I really am looking forward to this. Bear in mind the amount of people that comment that we're miserable and moan about everything. I'm actually looking forward to a game of football for the first time since about 1983. Is Atletico Madrid take on Real Madrid. 90-minute betting is 6-4 plus 150 for Atleti. You actually get plus 155. I just couldn't be asked to work out what that was. So I've gone with 6-4. 5-2 plus 250, the draw. Real are 13-8 plus 162 with a 2-1 lead from the first leg. To qualify, Atletico are 9-4 plus 225, and it's 1-3 minus 300 for Real. Baz, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, this looks the tasty one for Wednesday again. You mentioned at the beginning. The Liverpool PSG game Tuesday, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid on the Wednesday looks to be the two to watch. And I mean, I talked last week about Atletico's head record versus Real Madrid. They were unbeaten in 8 before last week, and they'd only lost 1 of 10. So certainly not over this one. Atletico not lost a home game since October as well, so in good form at home, and they've won 10 of the last 12, I think, in at home in all competitions. So I'd expect them to compete here. I think this game's far from over, but I do feel like Madrid should have enough to see them through. I mean, the books have got Atletico as a slight favourite for the game, but Real are quite short, as you say, 1-3 Real to qualify. So I'm surprised Atletico are quite as short to win it, because obviously if they do, there's a good chance we'll go into extra time. Pens. I was initially looking at the overs and the both teams to score here. It hit last week, and it's hit in 5 of the last 6 Champions League games for both sides, the over 2.5 from both teams to score. So I don't mind that one at all. That's available at 10-11. But I just decided to favour Madrid. You done it last week and sort of favoured them in the first leg. I'm going to go for Madrid to get at least a couple, and it's a slightly better price than taking the over 2.5 from both teams to score. Real Madrid team total over 1.5 goals is 11-10. That would be my pick here.
Sure about that, Baz. My pick is the over 2.5 from both teams to score, so you very nearly landed on it. The first leg was brilliant. It was top quality. Real were lucky to win. There was another false final. There was about 6 of them last week in this competition. I think anybody who thinks that this version of Atleti is the version that we've seen for a long time under Simeone, that big old shithouse team, you're clearly not watching them, because they're not like that at all anymore. They scored tons of goals. I thought they were great last week. Real were good as well. Both teams are full of goals. The both teams are scoring under 2.5 last week. Was the bare minimum that result could have been. There was no way either team was keeping a clean sheet. There was no way it was going under. It would have had to be like a fluke of like PSG, Liverpool proportions for that to finish under again. And having seen that and seen the way they both played and the way the game's set up, the only thing that your Real pick is that they just haven't got a great record against Atletico recently. But it, like I say, it's a bare minimum. The over 2.5 and BTTS just looks nailed on. 9-10 minus 111. Serial wants Atletico to score first. Great play, Serial. I don't know what price that'll be. Shade of odds on. I don't know, like 9-10 minus 111, something like that. Fef's gone with a Bellingham yellow card. Scott is questioning whether it was a false final. Yeah, it was, Scott. To answer your question, I haven't got time to go into it. Just trust me on that one. We can discuss it tomorrow night. I won't question your baseball knowledge, and you leave me with the football. Well, Barry, how fucking hell? 5 team rides. One of them we were very, very close on. It's going to be a very good week, Barry, or it's going to be an abject disaster. How are you feeling about it?
I mean, we've got to load up on that 44-1 5-fold, haven't we now?
That is true, yeah. It's not just a team ride; it's a show ride. And like I say, with Cheltenham going on, and with Newcastle at Wembley on Sunday, then a good week is very much what we need. We've done well to avoid talking cup final. I do feel a lot better about it, Barry. But I'll tell you why. It's fine. You started shitting yourself now.
I'm just not really excited about it as I would like to be. That's all. I mean, tonight did nothing better to make us feel any confident. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not looking forward to having to talk about it on Thursday night and make a pick for it. But there we go. We'll get there.
I am, because I've sorted my head out, Baz. So on Thursday night, I will fill you full of confidence and joie de vivre. Be one of those things. 8 games in the hutch there, Baz. Well done. I enjoyed that. It was fun. In the chat, I will repeat, was lit. Well done, everyone. Barry, would you like to tell the people anything before we let them go?
No, just a reminder, if anyone is having a go on the horses, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, have a listen to yours and Pete's little half-hour review, which is on YouTube. So give that a listen. And don't forget to like, thumbs up, rate, review, all of that stuff.
Yeah, tomorrow's the big day. All the shorties are going tomorrow. If Kopek de Board gets turned over in the first race, I'm going to have to reload because I've got so much shit linked to that. It's going to be a long week. I'll know how the week's going to go after race number 1. Hopefully, we're still alive after that one. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoys Cheltenham and the Champions League. What a fucking great week of sport. And like I say, it's proven a great distraction for me leading up to Friday and our departure for London. So thanks, Baz. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone who joined us. Join me and Scott tomorrow for the baseball. Me and Baz will be back on Thursday night to do the Carabao Cup final and the rest of the Premier League games. In the meantime, good luck with all your bets. And we will see you all down the road. Cheers.